It's actually really expensive to be poor in America because America is designed to take advantage of lower class people.
Being poor is so damn expensive. You don't have insurance and you can't afford to go to the doctor, then you have to have a $4,000 procedure a couple years down the line. You have to go online and pay your bills. They're going to charge you a 1.5% fee. If you are late on a bill and they charge you a $100 fee, if I couldn't afford the bill in the first place, how am I going to afford the damn fee? If your bank goes in overdraft, they're going to charge you $35. Being poor is expensive, and I think that has been the best thing that has come out of this conversation, is that people are finally acknowledging that poverty for most people is not a choice. It is the result of circumstances within this country that make it to where people are working 40, 50, 60 hours a week and still cannot afford to exist in this country. They can't afford basic needs like food, clothing, shelter, any of that. And the thing is, it wasn't just in the last 4 years that this started happening. People have been poor for quite some time. And that is absolutely ridiculous. Your car breaks down, you can't get your car fixed, so then you can't make it to work, and it's just too much. A better world is possible.
Being poor is super expensive. Like she said, not everyone chooses to be poor. There are actually people that lazily went into poverty, but some persons, it's just the economy that made them poor, right? Hey guys, welcome back again to the channel. So good to have you. Thank you so much for clicking when you saw this. So in today's video,
being poor is really expensive. For example, I need a new used car, but I can only afford a car that's about the $2,000 to $3,000 range. I can't really afford anything from a dealership or to get an auto loan. After scrimping and saving and looking at cars for months and months, cars that had all sorts of crap wrong with them, I found one that seemed like okay and seemed like trustworthy people to buy from. I went over to them, checked out the car, gave them my hard-earned money, and then on the way home I had a blowout. And then after I had a tow truck, a very expensive tow truck because I can't afford to have AAA, tow me to a repair shop, I get told that 3 out of the 4 tires need to be replaced. And also the wheel well that's holding one of the tires on is messed up and that needs to be fixed. So now this cheap car has cost me an extra $400. And then driving it home from the repair shop, the blinkers go out. Plus a myriad of other problems with this car that I don't know about yet. Money that I don't really have, that I've been saving for months in order to have a car that I thought would be reliable and take me around town. Because I never will be able to afford a new car. And that's just one of many examples on how poor people having to buy lower quality stuff means that they spend more money over time maintaining that shitty stuff or buying more of that shitty stuff than someone who could just buy the nicer thing.
poverty costs you a lot more, okay, because you can't even make choices. So you see something is affordable, you buy it, and all of a sudden you find out that the thing is affordable, right, when you bought it, but at the end of the day you're spending more. So you cannot make choices as a poor person, unlike the rich people, right? Like she mentioned, it's so hard for a poor person to make choices, but at the end of the day they spend a whole lot of money in maintaining a particular thing that they bought for affordable price.
I grew up dirt poor. When I say dirt poor, I mean on food stamps. My mom was a single parent. My dad was not involved in my life. We lived in a trailer, 2 bedrooms. My mom had 1 bedroom, 5 girls had the other bedroom. All my clothes were hand-me-downs. So when I look at the life that I'm able to live now, I'm just grateful that I made it out of there. My mom passed away when I was 15, and I moved in with my grandma, who was my neighbor, who also lived in a trailer. I lived there until I graduated high school, went off to college, so when I just look at the life that I'm able to live now, I'm just so happy. I've tried to make my life this incredible thing that it is now, and I've worked so hard to get here. Through being overweight, through the depression, I grabbed stuff from off of the side of the roads. I slept on the floor of my first apartment. My first car was $500 and broke down within 2 weeks. I spent years healing myself to get where I am now. I just want you guys to know it's possible. It's possible to be happy one day. Because it's possible, guys.
Some persons go through poverty, come out of it, but some persons don't, right? And this lady is one of those people that went through it and came out, and she's excited and grateful that she came out of it, having looked at where she was coming from. Look, see, when you take your time and have a little flashback, I'm telling you the fact, especially some of you that have gone through stuff, you'll be so amazed on how far you have come and how strong of a person you have become, because those things kind of mold you into a stronger person, right? And yeah, I'm super proud of her.
It's actually really expensive to be poor in America because America is designed to take advantage of lower class people. It is designed to keep lower income people as low income as possible. They don't want a ton of vertical movement up the wealth meter because they don't want people that are lower class to take over the wealthier class spots because they need the lower class to help be exploited and help fund the wealthier class. So for the wealth class to survive, they need people to stay down. So it is actually more expensive to be poor in a lot of situations. Like, for instance, boots. Perfect example. I'm sure everyone has heard the boots example. Is a good pair of working boots expensive? Very expensive. It could be like $200-$300 for a really good, well-made pair of boots. But a cheap pair of work boots from Walmart is like $50 to $60. If you are paycheck to paycheck, what do you think you're going to do? You're going to pay for the cheaper boots that are going to last you maybe 6 months. And then you're going to be back and you're going to have to buy a new pair of boots. And then you're going to maybe have those last another 6 months, but you're not going to be able to pay $200-$300 every 6 months. So each time the new boots come up, you're never going to be able to afford expensive new boots. You're only ever going to be able to afford the cheap ass boots that are going to keep breaking. But if you just bought the $200 boots at the first time, those could last a decade and you would have never had to replace them. And it would have been a lot cheaper than paying for $50 boots every year or every other year for 10 years. Same with like interest rates. People that can afford to just buy a car don't have to worry about what interest rates are, and they don't have to worry about how expensive it would be to borrow the money. And people that can just afford to go and buy a house, they don't have to worry about how much a mortgage would cost or what the rates of a mortgage are because they can afford to just buy things flat out. They don't have to pay the fee to borrow the money. Another prime example is how some social benefits are set up to run. And for instance, a lot of people that are receiving benefits and that are lower income, they know that they can't go out and get another job. They can't get better work. They can't get a higher paying job unless it's significantly higher paying. Because if it's just a little bit higher paying, it's going to be enough to take away all their benefits, but not enough to pay for the benefits. So they'd actually have less money in the long run. So stuff like that keeps people from being motivated for actually finding a better job and having any class mobility because they can't afford to lose their benefits short term. Things like this keep people poor long term, and this is very much by design. People cannot afford to be poor. That's the problem.
Oh yes, very much so. And punishment so much. Story time. Hi, if you don't know me, I'm Katie. I live in Southwest Michigan and currently am without a car. So, I had a doctor's appointment scheduled for this morning. I woke up figuring I can just schedule, get an Uber or a Lyft or something like that. 4-mile trip, mind you, 4 miles. Typically when I go to the laundromat, which is about 3 miles away, it's about $10 one way. So I'm figuring 4 miles, approximately 10 miles one way, right? Wrong. I woke up to $33. I kept refreshing the app. The lowest I got it to was $25, but still $25 to go one way. And because my appointment was at 8 a.m. when the office opened, me attempting to call the office to reschedule not only incurred me a $5 charge, I could have been dropped as a patient because it could have been a canceled appointment. And they have no problem dropping you if you cancel too many appointments. So, apparently, you're not allowed to be poor and get health care. You're not allowed to be poor and try to leave your apartment. It is very much a no-win situation.
Being poor is so damn expensive, especially for those of you who live in the United States, right? You just have to do more to be able to get more because it's so expensive to be poor. You can't afford the good life. You can't afford the kind of lifestyle that you really desire. You kind of start managing a lot of things. I'm not saying you should be extravagant. Overconsumption is also bad, right? But some of these basic things that people need, they can't even afford it because of poverty, right? So it's very important for people to try as much as possible to come out of it. But sometimes trying to come out of it also incur you more debt or more expenses. So I think that poverty is just so expensive, just very, very expensive. And getting a good job that can take you out of poverty is also very hard, okay? Anyway, guys, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. I'll be here to read from you, okay? Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. Do well to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and give this video a thumbs up as well. See you guys on my next video. Bye guys.